If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. You're listening to Africa Business Radio, where you get up-to-date insights on the Africa business landscape. Log on to www.africabusinessradio.com. Your favorite shows are available on podcasts. Download them on our website and mobile app. Africa Business Radio, towards a profitable Africa.
I think compared to the pressures of last week, I think this week is a little bit relaxing. I don't know, maybe it was because of the festive weekend that was going to happen. I mean, the traffic everywhere, the phone calls, the deadlines and whatnot. Okay, it was end of the month too. It was quite a week last week. But then this week, yeah, happy, started off really good. I think I've been marking out things I was supposed to do on my end. I hope you guys in Ghana, in South Africa and Egypt are getting your to-do list and everything done. And, I'm just happy to be in the studio, to have someone in the studio who, anytime we get on the call, I think we've never had a call that is less than 30 minutes before. I don't think so. I think we just keep going on and on and on, into so many things that I am passionate about and he's passionate about. So I'll talk about how I met him, and then I'll tell you about him. And then, of course, you all will meet him, through that way. So it looked like someone that I thought I knew. So, of course, the conversation just went. I didn't know it was a total stranger. I thought it was someone I knew. Right. And then he sent a DM at some time and said that he won't mind me coming to share some thoughts on digital publishing at Covenant University. I was like, oh, okay, then this is not the person I know then. And actually, okay, it looks like Tunji Ogoye. I'm sure you guys remember Tunji Ogoye came on the show about 2 weeks ago. So yeah, this can't be his twin brother. They need to check what's happening, in the family. Right. And I mean, the relationship has really gone really, really good since then. The program was well done, and if there is someone that I know on the African continent is that I know that is really passionate about the Gen X when it comes to their personal development, their all-round development actually, and most importantly, education. I think Jayola Okwazon, sorry.
Yeah, it's correct.
Okwazon.
I don't even know the correct pronunciation.
Can you imagine? Right, is that person. So let me tell you a bit about him. Jayola Okwazon is the chief strategist and founder of the Business App, a business solution startup. He also manages the University Startup Lab, teaches digital entrepreneurship at Covenant University in Nigeria, arguably the best university in Nigeria right now. And is the creator of the Covenant University Digital. Gideon has plied his trade in different sectors of the Nigerian economy, advising and handling brand communications for corporates, executives in oil and gas, and in all educational institutions at all levels, right? There's something that you posted yesterday on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
About, can you quickly share that briefly?
Oh, okay. So basically, it's not entirely my success story.
Yeah.
It's
but then you're part of it.
Yeah.
Because I'm still doing your introduction right now, so I want people to know what's happening right there.
Yeah. So it's Maya's success story. Maya happens to be one of Nigeria's biggest female venture capitalists.
Right.
In fact, one of Africa's biggest female venture capitalists. Recently, she raised $10 million to support startups here in Africa. Mm-hmm. Before the money came, we've been having conversations as to, what we can do to support startups. In fact, had a collaboration with our organization. Mm-hmm. We set up a pipeline. So Hebron Startup Lab, where I'm managing Covenant University, is a university-based incubator. It is not like Co-Creation Hub or any of the other tech hubs that you know. So our major strength is in ideation and then shipping those ideas and then, partnering with other incubators to be able to, scale and, accelerate those startups.
And then she got featured in Forbes.
Yeah. So she thought it necessary to put our pictures in the whole stuff because we've been even up to yesterday, we still tried to have a conversation as to, okay, now we have $10 million. What next?
I mean, that's really good. And I think that the reason why she must have included your picture was to draw some attention to Hebron.
Yeah. Actually, she's so much in love with what we do.
So he's Jaye Networks on Instagram and Twitter, right? Follow him, send him a DM. Is that conduit to getting the attention of the next generation of economic growth custodians? I'm not sure if that term is right, but then the people who will really transform the economy of Africa are right there in Covenant University and are just a call away, from Gideon, and it's all going to happen. I mean, you can gather at least 1,000 of them in a hall, even more, and then it's just a conduit to have a good impact or a huge impact, right, amongst the Gen Z in Africa. Man, thank you so much for coming on the African Millennial Radio Show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I mean, how's it going? How's it been?
Oh, well, yeah, it's been stressful, to be honest. Okay. Stressful because we play in a very, very important space, such that whenever there's a situation such as a pandemic that broke out, especially considering the fact that, there were certain indicators here and there as to, okay, yes, something's going to happen. There was even a publication sometime in 2006 about preparing for pandemics, but you know how we humans could be. I think a particular organization, I think it was Harvard Business Review that even predicted 2020, but people just felt like, oh no, it's not going to happen. So we didn't see it coming. And then when things like that happen, the next thing is, who will save us? And then people think that tech is just the solution to everything, all their life's problems. So once there's a bit of a challenge, of course,
that's what we see in movies now.
They're looking to tech
and then
exactly.
The comes through.
And then there's so much pressure, and then and the pressure more so because we're now a university-based incubator, and then over time we've tried to prove ourselves to be that place where the solutions emanate from. So when every other place fails, everybody's saying, even you. And then the pressure begins to mount. And okay, yeah. So
so I call that good pressure, right? Because what it does is it opens up another curve that brings a lot of learning.
Exactly.
Right.
True.
And then it now makes you press. It's like you're pressing the grapes, right? And then you get fine wine out of it. True. So you're putting everybody actually in a situation that entrepreneurs go through when you're faced with a challenge, and then how you're going to scale through. So this is all students right here. This is me, your lecturer, teaching you. How can we together take whatever we're trying to do from where we are to the next point, come what may, come what the world is saying. And if we can successfully do that, the world is going to, reference us in how they're going to do their things outside. So, you're in a really, really interesting space. I envy and don't envy you at the same time because you're dealing with raw minds, right? And what you're doing is you're refining them into what the society would accept. And if you now look at it, the society is really, really looking. We have one of your people, right? I Get Up Inc. and she's a very, very phenomenal person. Her writings are everything. Michael here is going to, attest to it. I don't know if he's a right-hand person or the right hand. They just have a way. She's a good team player and she's patient. She learns and it just shows where she's from. I'm sorry I'm selling the market of Jayola here, right? I'm not the guest, I'm the host. So let's just go straight to Jayola. Now, I want to ask though, from the environment you are, or the space you play, which is education, what are the challenges you see in the educational system in Africa generally, right? And what are those challenges making you do in providing solutions to this place?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. To be honest with you, I won't even lie. The challenges are enormous, but I think that it actually stems from one thing. We are Nigerians, Nigeria especially, we're just used to playing catch up in most things. So the world is evolving. The way education is delivered all over the world is evolving, especially as regards the Gen Zs. They're a totally different cohort of generation. Unprecedented. We've never had people like them before. And so it becomes and it becomes so complex because we do not understand what they're about. So we begin to misunderstand them, and then all of that now begins to affect, how we relate with them, and then it seems like they're going out of control. But actually, the truth is they're actually the best generation that we've ever had, and we just need to be able to begin to adopt, and that will now lead to things like curriculum development. We need to reevaluate what we're teaching, to look at it. The truth is there are different elements to it. So there's the part of what are we teaching, that's the content. Then there's a part of how are we teaching, that's the content delivery and our approach. And then there's a part of who is delivering that content. Now, the part of what are we delivering has to do with, curriculum is changing. These people that we're preparing, these people that we're teaching in these universities and in the education space generally, we're preparing them for a future that we don't know about. There are jobs that have not even been created that these guys are going to, fit into eventually. Because, those days, I think I've shared this with you before. Those days, you could easily say, ask a child, what do you want to be when you grow up? And is that doctor, lawyer, engineer, banker, accountant? But now there's so much. There's content creator, there's UI UX, there's ICT, there's so much now that has come out, and you can't exactly put anybody in a box. So how do you create your content in such a way that is T-shaped, that they can land anywhere, they can be in any situation, any environment, and still be able to fit in, especially considering the fact that the jobs that we are preparing them for have not even been created yet. They do not know. We that are teaching them do not also know. So we need to begin to look at that content now to begin to see what are the critical things we should be teaching them. Should we still be going the route of, the Y, the X every time? Or should we begin to teach things like creativity, critical thinking? Those are the things that are really very important to, being able to fit in anywhere, because the moment you're able to think creatively, then you can bring a solution out of whatever problem that you're being faced with, regardless of how the problem is coming and all of that. And then the other part now has to do with how is it being delivered. That's content delivery. Now, a recent survey that I stumbled upon, that was when we were doing a paper. We did a paper recently, and the survey said that 56% of students believe that they will learn better with videos. So why are we still trying to shove PDFs, PowerPoints through the throats of these people?
No, PDFs and PowerPoints were the gold when it was 10 years or something ago now.
Exactly.
So now it has moved.
It has moved. It's now videos.
I'm happy I'm talking to a university.
Times have changed. And then this is where it becomes interesting, because I hardly use PDFs except if I want to a reference material. It's so interesting, especially what I teach. You are teaching entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship cannot really be taught in class. Do you get? So what are the tools? What do we use? Do you know we use things as interestingly as movies? There are very many movies. So we do like movie reviews in class. We're teaching entrepreneurship. Don't forget. We're using movies. We're watching Founders. We're watching Padman. We're watching
Coach Carter.
Exactly. And then we are beginning to discuss the entrepreneurial lessons from this. You are able to get the students engaged because, number one, you're using a video. Number two, you're using something that they love to do. People love to watch movies. And this is the problem with Gen Zs that people do not understand. So see, Gen Zs, their problem is control. Okay. That's the problem. They do not want to be controlled. They want to control stuff. And that's because they have a tool that has empowered them. So you are a lecturer, I'm teaching in class. In those days, if your lecturer is teaching in class and you're playing with your phone, lecturer will seize your phone and walk you out.
Are you playing with radio? Let me go back. Let me go 20 years.
Exactly. You seize your phone and walk you out of the class.
Radio in class.
But now, I'm talking in class and my students are confirming if what I'm saying is true through Google. One funny thing happened one day. I was teaching social media growth in class, and I was teaching about tools, apps, feeling like one sage on the stage, giving them all the grammar. And as I was talking, there's this guy that is always in class, just always keeping quiet. I'm sure a lot of them will know him. His name is Coyote. He's always quiet. He will not say anything. When other people are talking, like, because where I teach, we could just pick something that is trending on social media and analyze in the class, that kind of thing. And then everybody's contributing. We want to talk about BB Naija, talk about what's trending and stuff. And then this guy is just quiet. So one day I was like, this guy has to talk today. When I provoked this guy to talk, I discovered that this guy is an influencer on social media. I had been in my class and I did not know.
So he was actually gathering insights from what people were
Exactly.
saying.
And do you know the funny thing? Then I was now giving them apps. The app I suggested to the class, the app was cool, and that's the app I knew because that's what I was taught with. But this guy knew a better app that could do the job like
so a
lot better. I was just looking. So when I now made him talk, the guy literally took over the class.
Jesus.
Bro, I became humble.
Let's have a short break right now, and then we'll be back for more of this.
All right.
Oh, wow.
They are 1.8 billion globally. They will make 75% of workforce by 2025. They will outspace earnings of baby boomers in less than 10 years. Smartphones and tablets are the argument settlers and fact checkers for every conversation. Get more insights on African millennials on Africa Business Radio towards a profitable Africa. They are 1.8 billion globally. They will make 75% of workforce by 2025. They will outspace earnings of baby boomers in less than 10 years. Smartphones and tablets are the argument settlers and fact checkers for every conversation. Get more insights on African millennials on Africa Business Radio towards a profitable Africa.
You know, this thing that Jayola has been saying since was a Gideon. Which one should I go, Jayola or Gideon? I mean, it's my nightmare, right? To be in front of people and then, you know, just going on and this guy like, yeah, right. Right. So I think that when it comes to educating now, it's not going to be, so in marketing, there's usually the pull and the push, right? So the push is in your face, buy. But the pull is okay, you know what? Let's just dangle something up on you guys. You guys dote around it and then the marketing happens. So my forever reference, let me use movies, is Marvel came out and said, the first black superhero movie, everybody jumped on it and marketed Black Panther. Right. But then another studio will come and say this movie is action packed. Then I start selling the actors to us. Right. It was about there's a black superhero movie. So that was, you know, that was pull. You know, and then the push is, you know, try to convince us that it's action packed or tell us that New York Times said this about the movie, you know, trying to convince us. So in classes now, right, the best thing is just to go with the pull. Right? Really? Hi guys, good morning. How are you doing? We want to talk about mobile phones. What do you know about mobile phones?
Exactly.
That's the best.
Exactly.
Before I start giving one definition, I'm like, And that is really good because what it does is it keeps the environment really open. Yeah. And I think that's where growth happens. True. Right. So when it comes to growth now, what potentials do you see? Let's just throw things into, let's be open here. Let's throw things into 5 years. Right. That's 2025. Right. With the current, the penultimate and final year students you have right now, what do you think the Gen Z would be capable of doing in just half a decade of this?
In terms of, I can start that question with in terms of couple of in terms of being able to create stuff,
contribute to the economy. Okay. You know, it's entrepreneurship, it's not entrepreneurship. Being in the society.
The truth is, the Gen Zs own the markets, they own the economy. Right now in Nigeria, the Gen Zs have like a majority of the population right now, and they control the conversations on social media. They control the conversations everywhere, basically. They make the numbers in everything, you know. So, but in terms of, let me talk from the point where I am. You know, I wouldn't like to like say things that I'm not really sure about, but from where I am right now in terms of entrepreneurship,
because they're listening to you, man.
Exactly. I'm sure that you're tuned in. So, in terms of entrepreneurship, like the Gen Zs are going to take over the entrepreneurial space. And I say this like very audaciously, and because I established earlier that Gen Zs want to be in control. That's the reason why they're not stable. That's why you employ a Gen Z. They say that a Gen Z will have like between 6 and 7 different careers in his or her lifetime. Okay. So you employ a Gen Z. just one day wakes up and is fed up, he'll leave. That thing that we millennials were taught that you build a career, so you have to be stable in one place. If you don't work in a place for up to 1 year, you don't even think of resigning and stuff. All those things don't work with these guys now. They're the real...
That was what Digifanio, when he came, he said that the digital octopus. I cracked a joke of it on Twitter. I said there could be digital decapus and digital nanopus or something like that. Having been able to do so many things. So he was even saying that, you should be able to do that, right? But then what you're saying now, right, from the point of the tertiary institution, is that these people already have it. They have the capacity to do it.
Exactly.
So now, do you think that something about, because this is what I believe, I'm a bit of a hybrid, right? So the old school, the new school. I believe that structure has to happen, and when you're building structure, you need time, you need patience. Do you think that Gen Z can have the patience, right, to build structure, or, right, don't let me sound a bit Jurassic right now, or they might just have an approach to getting structure done faster?
Okay, so two things. First thing is, they're going to make structure done faster.
Okay.
And then the truth of the matter is that structure as we know it now won't be structure for the Gen Zs. Or it's not even structure for the Gen Zs. That's the truth. Structure for a millennial will be, okay, this has to be on top of this, and then there has to be foundation. It's like there's a protocol. The Gen Zs are not following protocols, and they're not going to follow protocols in terms of what you know structure to be. The way a Gen Z will run business will be totally different from the way we know how business is run right now. Most of the things that we learn in business school, and I can tell you this because I work in that space, I listen to these guys, their business ideas, they're amazing. And you listen to the approach they want to go about it, it's novel. And that's why it's very important. I was going to mention this earlier. Who is teaching them also matters. Because who is teaching them now has to do with what does the person know? What understanding does the person have? You're no longer a sage on a stage. You are now like a moderator in class. And then it's better when millennials like us are teaching them, because they feel like we have like a blend of both, right? So we know a bit of how the older gens,
Gen X,
the Gen X, the Gen X, how they related and how things were done, and we also have a bit of the Gen Z. So we're somewhere in between, so we can easily relate with them, and that's what really works for me. I mean, where I am right now, so you can easily relate to them. These guys, the way they think is different. The way they see structure is different. They challenge the system. That's another thing. They always want to challenge stuff. So those days in class, for example, you come to class and you tell millennials, for example, that okay, 2 + 2 = 4, and then what the millennial is thinking about is how to memorize that 2 + 2 = 4. But the Gen Z is questioning why 2 + 2 = 4,
and not 3 + 1.
Exactly. And then the Gen Z is also looking for a way to solve the question apart from the normal way that he's been taught. They just want to break out of the norm. So what structure is for them is not what structure is for us. So, and they're going to get things done faster, especially because they have this very powerful equipment or tool.
So that means it's important that whoever is teaching them actually should be able to create that platform for them to express themselves. Absolutely. Same thing, even the HR sessions we've been having. We've had a couple of HR consultants come in to talk. They've, tilted towards that direction of creating a platform, creating an atmosphere where people can express themselves. And I think at least if nobody's going to listen, by the time the Gen Z people come out, you'll be forced to listen. I mean, thank you so much. It's really short. I'm sure you can't believe that it's 30 minutes already.
Oh, yeah. So I actually expected it.
I mean, it's 30 minutes already, right? I hope we get it to 1 hour. Some people say, no, 1 hour, let's give it 30 minutes. We'll take a poll. All right. Thank you so much for coming on the African Millennial Radio Show. This is a conversation. I mean, someone was commenting right now. Someone listening is commenting right now saying that, that there needs to be more conversation on Gen Z, right? And I think hopefully we'll be able to do more of that, especially when, the people around you almost every day of the week are that demographic who are trying to learn, and you're trying to impact knowledge into, and vice versa. All right, guys, thank you for coming on the African Millennial Radio Show again. It's Tomi Wale on Africa Business Radio. And to my very, very dedicated, action-driven, choleric, sanguine, jovial, sometimes male, but back at his normal self, producer, Mickey Jagger. Thank you so much for always putting a wonderful show together. And to my man, Mike, I feel like appreciating everybody here today. It's been a very, very wonderful journey. Guys, don't forget to stay safe. Go back into the week and make something work. Make some money this week. Just try and make some money through a legal way. All right, guys. Through a legal. I didn't say a very legal way, please. All right, guys. We'll be back on Friday to have more conversations on, corporate governance, corporate culture, and business development. Have a wonderful afternoon. Bye.